Hello, YouTube. Um, I just did this video, but after reviewing it, I realized I was a little belligerent towards David Canterbury's business, and I decided to eat something and do a quick meditation, and so now I'm back here. Um, let's just say I don't like the way things are priced on David Canterbury's store and the Wilderness Outfitters store. Um, it just seems a little frustrating to me whenever I see what he says and what he does in his videos, and then see the pricing on his store. I know it's more than just him, and I know that he's trying to feed his family, keep a roof over his business and over his family's head, and I respect that. I'm a person who firmly believes that if it costs more than $50, it's probably not worth it. And that's not in reference to like cars or houses. Um, but there is an upper limit on the pricing as far as I am concerned where a car and a house should be. Um, but as far as survival equipment is concerned, as far as knives and axes are concerned, I really believe that $50 is the upper limit. You spend more than $50, I would take into question seriously the value of that knife or that tomahawk. But essentially speaking, we're talking about tomahawks for a third time because, um, well, essentially speaking, I keep forgetting to add information to the video. I told you that we're going to do a point system for tomahawks. I told you what that point system was going to be. And then I once again failed to tell you what that's going to be attached to. It sounds a whole lot like I'm talking about role playing, but I'm not. I just come from role playing, and so sometimes you'll hear me say attributes and points and system and things like that. It's just I lack um, better vocabulary where such things are concerned. So, essentially speaking, what we are talking about is that there'll be a piece of paper. This piece of paper will be a frame in which we can test tomahawks, and hopefully, in the long run, other things than just tomahawks. I'm sure with enough research and enough development, we can test just about anything. My hope in this is that we can change the industry, because the industry is you can buy a cheap tomahawk and it will fail on you, or you can buy an expensive tomahawk and from what I've seen, it'll fail on you. Because right now, what people are making is defensive hawks, things that you can fight with, combat tools. And I'm sorry, I'm not taking a combat tool out into the goddamn woods. I know that there are people out there who can do it, but here's the shindig. Okay, not the shindig. Here's the thing. At the top of the piece of paper will be your a namespace and the date. Who's operating it on what day. Beneath that will be the attributes or descriptors of the tool that you are testing. For instance, on a tomahawk, how much does it weigh? How long is it from stem to stern? How long is the cutting surface? How deep goes the beard? How much space there is from the handle to the point of the beard, which is what I like to refer to as the catch space. You're catching somebody in that catch space. How tightly it fits against the handle once knocked on. And how much handle space there is, how long is the handle itself in total from tip to tip and how much tip is left after fitted tightly. Okay, some people like to cut that off and round it off and make it all nice and perfect. But the simple fact of the matter is as time goes by, this will move up more and more. Not by much at all. You'll just be operating with it and you'll start to see little curled up edges around. Don't shave those off or shave them down. That's helping keep the tomahawk from the other way, as well as the hefty wedge right here. But you sand enough and you're going to have to start applying wedges to the top. This is friction fit. I firmly believe that friction fit is the way to go with the tomahawk. You do anything else and you're asking for trouble. Like for instance, Cold Steel, they put pins in the head of their tomahawks. You do any research at all whatsoever with friction fit tomahawks, you don't need to do that. That is the sign of a company who does not know anything about tomahawks. Okay? I firmly believe that if you do it the other way around, that if you friction fit it from the top and with wedges hammered in, which I don't remember what's called, that is the stupid way about doing things. You will lose your tomahawk head that way. Tomahawk heads are thin relatively and are lightweight. I want to change that. I want to change the industry. And I think if you and I work together, this system will work. So, that's the top information. Your name, the date, and the features or attributes of the tomahawk itself. Underneath will be the 9 to 12 to 15, how many ever tests we managed to come up with. But for now, I'm saying the 9 top of the line tests for a tomahawk. 3 combat, the ultimate combat tests. Not can you swing it without your arm coming off, or can you block without your arm coming off? Because if you swing it and you're hurt just from swinging it, get rid of it. Okay? I think that there should be an upper weight limit. Okay? I think a pound might be too much, but a half a pound is definitely not enough. Okay? But we'll test that. Well, remember, we're in the research phase. I'm just talking from what I've seen and from what I've read. So we have to test that theory. Is half a pound too little, or is half a pound too much? Okay. It has to be light enough that it can be swung in a combat manner. It has to be heavy enough that it can, with a single chop, split wood. And it has to be throwable. And this one isn't. Okay, it's all point heavy. It lands here every time. I believe I've stated that much. But and then underneath that piece of paper should be comments, like what improvements need to be made and such. But we're not there yet. We're in the research phase. And I know I've done 3 videos on this subject matter thus far. Oh yeah, handle materials. I truly believe that the major downfall of tomahawks is tactical tomahawks. In my opinion, I've handled a few of them. None of them were mine. I've never put one of them on camera. Understand me, I'm never going to put anything on camera that I don't think works unless it's for demonstrational purposes. Every single tactical tomahawk that I've ever held in hand is a piece of shit and should not be on the market. It serves a singular purpose. It should not be referred to as a tomahawk. In my opinion, tomahawks fall under certain categories. A tomahawk is capable of combat, it is capable of survival, and it is capable of being thrown. Anything else is if it's less in one area and more in another, it's not a tomahawk. Okay? If it's really, really lightweight and you can fight with it, it's a defensive axe. It is not a tomahawk. If you can split wood with it, but nothing else, it's just a goddamn axe. Okay? If you can hammer tent pegs in with it, but not really much else, yeah, it's just a hammer. Even if it has an axe face. It's like, you all remember the Sword Buyer's Guide, and then them talking about fantasy swords. This is a fantasy axe. The great and horrible thing about it is it's sharp and it's sturdy, and that's about it. This is a fantasy axe. This is a fantasy axe. This is a fantasy axe. Okay? The only difference between fantasy swords and fantasy axes is you can use a fantasy axe to do great and horrible things to people. What I want to do, as I clearly stated before, is I want to create a system that will change the industry. That will make people say, oh crap, we haven't made a tomahawk yet. Cold steel. And I know a lot of people might give me guff for this. But as far as I'm concerned, a tomahawk has to be able to be thrown. It has to be able to be used as a survival tool. And it has to be able to be used in combat. Because that's what the originals were used for. This is the one and only American-only created tool. The Native Americans called it tomahawkin. We call it tomahawk. Now, God damn it, we got to get our shit in gear and our heads out of the fucking clouds, and we got to start working towards a better tomahawk. I also believe that tomahawks and long knives should be paired, that they both should be survival and combat tools. I don't believe that a knife should be thrown. If you're throwing a tomahawk in combat or for whatever reasons, and you lose that bitch, well, guess what? You still got a knife. Now, I know I'm probably going to step on some people's toes with this, and for that I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a douchebag. And as far as David Canterbury and his school are concerned, guys, you have to come down to common man level. Okay? Who is going to spend 50 some odd dollars on a canteen with you guys when they can go to any corner store and buy something similar? Who is going to spend $40 to $50 on a water bottle with you whenever they can go to any corner store and get it very, very cheap? I mean, we're talking like 10, 15, 20 bucks. Okay, I realize that your equipment is top grade, but guys, you got to bring it down for the rest of us. Okay, I have waited 3 years to buy a canteen cook set from you fuckers. And you want to know why I haven't? Because it's $50. And it's $50, and all it comes with is a canteen and a cup and a lid. That's not good enough. Okay, yeah, sure, it might be the best quality. It might last the next 200 years. But so long as you take care of your stuff, it'll last the next 200 years. And that's my problem with you guys. You got to bring it down for the common man. You have to have more regular deals. I have been, and this is the compromise with my wife. I can't buy that 50 some odd dollar canteen cook set. I have to buy the water bottle. I have to buy the water bottle. I grew up with my dad, who was in the Army the majority of my life, and the majority of his, I'm sure, thus far. And canteen's where it's at for me. You know, my final setup, I'm working on it, and I know I'm probably going to strip things away as I learn new things. But for now, I mean, we're talking about an $800 some odd dollar, you know, an 800 some odd dollar kit to be able to learn how to go out and be in the woods. And I know once I spend that $800, I'm probably going to lose half of that. And some of that is just books. You guys got to start bringing it down for the rest of us. I said very, very clearly that I wanted a mainline forged Tomahawk because they are beautiful and awesome. And I went to talk to the guy, $250. I ain't going to spend more than $50 on a Tomahawk, and you want me to spend $250 with you? And I tried to cut the guy a deal, but you know, they have their own YouTube channel, and I'm a novice. I don't have a name in that area. You are not special. You are no more or less significant than a grain of sand. What you make, a person can go elsewhere and buy for dirt cheap. Will it do what your Tomahawk can do? Probably not. Will that person probably get himself hurt for going and buying a cheaper Tomahawk? Yeah, he probably will. You got to start thinking about that, guys. Your Tomahawk, no matter how much work you put into it, no matter how pretty it is, no matter even if you stain the handle, is not worth $250 every Tomahawk every time. I don't give a shit if you're making it from I don't give a shit if you're shitting out the steel and making it by hand. And, you know, how many air bubbles? I think we can make a Tomahawk out of that. I don't give a shit if your family is in such great desperation that you have to sell shit at $250 a pop for a Tomahawk. It's not worth it. Okay, at most, I would spend $100 for a set Tomahawk long knife. $50 each. That's the maximum. The maximum. Okay? I have no tolerance for the kinds of sort of people who will say, I have a forge. I can make you a Tomahawk, but it will cost you an arm and a leg. Arm and a leg this motherfucker. No offense intended, but goddamn. You know, and then there's David Canterbury. Common man this and common man that, but where's the common man stuff on your site? Oh, you can go to Amazon and get this, that, and the other for common man prices. Common man prices is not where you think it's at. Because if it's where you think it was at, we'd all be millionaires. Okay? You know, I appreciate that you got a business to maintain, and I got to appreciate that you got to put food on the table, keep a roof over your head, over the head of your children. But damn, dude, really? $300 to $500 for a knife, a 6-inch knife. Come on, really? Now I have to go to Condor, a name that I don't trust, a name that I refuse to rely on. A name that I don't want to have to go to, but they're the only people making knives anywhere in the ballpark of what you're doing, and they're at the very least making them cheap. The reason why I have a problem with Condor, and the reason why I have a problem with you, is what's wrong with an 8-inch knife? That's one. Two, everything on your site is so overwhelmingly expensive that I have to wait till taxes come in and argue with my wife to be able to acquire even an article. One thing. Dude, by now I expected to have everything that I needed to go and start learning. Okay, everything that I needed to go and start learning. at the very least, you need to have a David Canterbury approved common man section of your store. And Mainline Forge, I am going to highly recommend nobody buy from you. Because $250, it is not an appropriate price. Matter of factly speaking, it is outrageous. You make great stuff. I will never knock your stuff. But this is the thought that I had whenever I started negotiating with you about a Tomahawk. And I was very, very specific, and you started giving me the runaround. Well, we got a Tomahawk right now on eBay. That might do you. That wasn't a Tomahawk in the least. That was like a camp hatchet. Whenever I asked for a Tomahawk. Yeah. And then, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but seriously, we can negotiate. Negotiate? You know what saying negotiate means? Negotiate means that for a Tomahawk that you made that you consider to be a Tomahawk is $250. And if you want something custom, it's more. And if it ain't, I'm sorry. Don't mean to be a douchebag, but damn. $250 is non-acceptable. $250 is nowhere near acceptable. Okay? And then I'm watching stuff on the Hidden Woodsman and his stuff, and that he's brought his stuff down to prices that the common person can afford. What about the disabled person? I can't pull $60 squarely out of my ass. I don't want to make you feel like you're being given the runaround, but I don't make $50 in a month. I don't make $50 in 6 months. Okay? Everybody has bills. Everybody has things to take care of. I don't make anywhere near that kind of money. And I babysit. Okay? I don't make anywhere in the ballpark of the kind of money most people are talking about. And my wife has a job. And she helps take care of my needs and my wants. Okay? But I have to be reasonable. That's the only thing that she asks of me. Because if it was my dime, I'm a little impulsive. She's the controlled one. I'm the impulsive one. I'm the one that goes, the canteen is signed by David Canterbury himself. We have to buy it. I have a lot of respect for the man. I love his work. But damn, I don't have any respect for his prices at all whatsoever. But anyways, that's all that I gotta say on the subject matter, and hopefully we can continue later on, because I do want your opinion. I know that I scare a lot of you off with saying if you're a douchebag, I will block you and then report you. But there's a difference between being a douchebag and being straightforward. If you have decent advice for me, if you think I'm being unrealistic, that's one thing. If you call me an asshole, the asshole of assholes for being an asshole, fuck you, I'm going to block you and report you. Okay, I would never shit in your yard. That's the difference. I am not going to deliberately go out of my way to piss in your Wheaties. And if me saying what I say pisses in your Wheaties, I apologize for it. But dude, I'm honest. This is the fact of the matter. You are being a douchebag. I'm sorry I'm pissing in your Wheaties. Okay? There is a difference. If you are respectable and you have something to say to me, say it to me. Okay? If you're going to go out of your way to be a douchebag and a troll, I'm going to block you and report you. Okay, so bear that in mind. Talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Later. Bye. See ya. Bye.